Create Art Podcast. Commentary. Commonweal or doing work for the common good. Hello friends, this is Timothy Kimo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I bring my 20 plus years, almost 30 plus years of experience in the arts and education world to you to tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. So this past Christmas in 2022, my wife got me a deck of cards. Now, it's not the usual deck of cards that you play poker with, or if you're from the Midwest, to play euchre with. No. These are called Kickstart Creativity, 50 prompted cards to spark inspiration. And they're done by Bonnie Smith Whitehouse. I'll make sure that we have the links to that in the show notes. There's 3 different types of cards in here. There is action cards, and what they do is they offer an opportunity to experiment or play with a surprising, joy-inducing method sure to scratch your creative muscles. Each card suggests and briefly describes a specific action that you do. You have perspective cards, and those are the green cards. The action cards are the red. I guess they indicate action. Green is perspective. And they reveal a fresh mindset, a different lens, or an illuminating way of viewing the work you have before you. Creative spirits past and present are often invoked on perspective cards. And then lastly is the blue ones, which are the intention cards. And they invoke a deeper service, value, significance, or meaning to which you and your work can inspire. Now, you can, just pick out any card you want, and that's what I do. I'm working through the intention cards first, actually. You can put, a couple of the cards together and see what comes out of it. But for myself, I'm just going to do 1 card a week. And this past week was, as the title of the show is, Commonweal, and doing things for the common good. And what that basically means is work for the common good, the well-being and flourishing of others as in the interest of us all. And the intention behind it is all things are intertwined. Even trees respond to the needs of other trees through an elaborate underground network. We don't have to look too far beyond our doorsteps to see how creative energy has been unleashed for the good of others. Consider roads, bridges, public parks, the judicial system, I find that interesting, and libraries. Envision your efforts as more than work that will bring you individual glory. Serve others, even those who haven't yet been born. And the first thing on this intention card is, where do your creative impulses intersect with the world's needs? So this kind of goes with the job that I do. And basically, I manage programs, and specifically a financial wellness program. And now I'm managing podcasts for my job, which is a really good thing. At the time of this recording, I'm about ready to head out on a work trip, my first work trip with the company that I'm with now. And I'm going to talk to people about, getting their finances correct. And I have a theater background, so I can stand in front of a group of people and pretend that I care. But I do care. Having financial issues is something that none of us want to have. We want to make sure that all of our bills are paid, that we have money to retire on. These are the things that happen after you turn 50, and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? So, where do my creative impulses intersect with the world's needs? In my immediate world, that's where they intersect. If I expand my world a little bit, one thing I would like to do is teach podcasting to others. And there's a way I can do that in my community. Just set up a class with our library and utilize a creative space that they have. It's called Idea Space, and teach podcasting to the world at large. What am I doing? Well, this podcast is my way of doing it, kind of taking the mystery out of art, showing people that they can do it. Maybe they can even, monetize it and be successful and quit their day jobs. So that's where my creative impulses have been going for the past few years. Now, there's a challenge here. And the challenge is to create or improve something in the interest of the common good. And again, I go back to doing a podcasting class at our local library and at the Idea Space, and teaching people how to do what I'm doing right now, and reaching out to you. And I do want to thank you for listening to my rambles and my thoughts, and I appreciate that. But what I also want to do is, well, there's the poetry reading on Friday nights that I go to here locally. So I guess one thing that I can do there, one thing that I do there is to support the folks that read. I make sure that I applaud for everybody. I applaud loudly. I have a little fun there with my nephew. We have a little back and forth, and we jab fun at each other. I make fun of myself, and I let people know, hey, listen, I've been writing this poetry stuff for many, many years, and I learned stuff from you folks, and hopefully you learned something from me. And I try to encourage the folks there that look up to me to write more, and to write better, and to really be there with their audience. So I guess my question to you all is there something that you could create to improve something in the interest of the common good where you're at? And if you're already doing something like that, please let me know. You can email me, timothy@createartpodcast.com. I'd love to hear about it. The last thing is to sketch out a web showing how you understand the interconnectedness of all beings. So this is one where I messed up a little bit this week. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture in the show notes to show you. But what I was going to do is I was going to do some what I call string drawings. I did these a while ago. They're hanging around here in my office. And basically what you do is you dip a piece of string in some ink, let it soak in, and then you take a cardstock paper, fold it in half, put it in a book, and then put the string in there, close the book with the cardstock, and then pull the string out, jerk it a little bit, pull it straight, and then pull it in a different direction, and then pull it in a different direction. It's a little bit hard to describe just using my words. You should see what I'm doing with my hands. Maybe you don't want to see what I'm doing with my hands. But that was my intent this week. I actually, went on to the Amazon and got some ink and got some sketch paper, a pad of sketch paper. And unfortunately, things happened, life happened, and I did not do it. So, and next week is going to be difficult for me to do it because, well, I'm not going to be at home for a few days. So we'll see what happens next week. And speaking of that, next week's episode may be delayed. I may try to do it before I go out on this trip. We will see. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to tell you not to necessarily expect an episode next week, but if one pops out, then that's all icing on the cake. So again, if this has inspired you to do anything with yourself or with your art, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to feature it on the show. So again, shoot me an email, timothy@createartpodcast.com. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, And I'm going to try to see you next week. I'm going to do my best. If I don't see you next week, have a great rest of your next 2 weeks, and we'll see you when I get back. Well, that was today's card. I appreciate you taking a listen to this podcast, and I really appreciate the time that you put into it. And I hope you appreciate the time that I put into it. I do want to ask you a slight favor. If you got any benefit out of this, I'd ask you to go ahead and share it with a friend. Whatever app you're using, if you're on my website, go ahead and give them the website. If you're, using an app, share it through your app. There's lots of different ways, lots of different apps out there. So I'm not going to go through them all. But yeah, go ahead and share it with a friend. I don't mind. Don't mind at all. The other thing I'd like to ask of you is that if you have something going on in your neck of the woods, or if you have, a piece of art that you're working on that I can help you out with, or if you want to get your work out there to other people, I'd be happy to interview you on this show. You can email me, timothy@createartpodcast.com. And I'd be happy to get back with you and talk about it and see what we can do about that. The last thing I'm going to ask of you, and I know I'm asking a ton, and I apologize for that, but could you go ahead and email me and let me know what would make this a 5-star podcast in your eyes? I'd like to know about that. You can, a lot of the apps out there, you can comment right there on the app and leave your review or all that. And by all means, go ahead and do that. Even if it's not a 5-star, if it's a 4-star, if it's a 1-star, go ahead and do that. But what I would ask you to do, please, is to go ahead and email me. Same email address, timothy@createartpodcast.com. And let me know what's going to make this a 5-star podcast for you. Now I'm going to release you to the rest of your day. I hope this was enjoyable for you. I know it was enjoyable for me. So go out there. Tame that inner critic. Create more than you consume. And go out there and make some art for somebody you love, yourself. I'll talk to you next time.